All right, so let us continue from where we have left last time in the class. Last time we did discuss many of the concepts. Let me just go very quickly. All this we discussed, right? We saw the examples. I'm very happy to see the assignment which you have submitted also. People have not yet completed, but I want everyone to submit that. The 3 plus and 3 minus of this home automation system, which we have seen. This pretty much gives you the picture, right? What all IoT systems are used over here: smart light, weather sensor, your power, then smoke detector in the garage. So all these things were there. You can plus and minus 3 systems from the example which we talked about sensors and actuators. We talked about being the responsible citizens in the internet. A very few basics we have covered. We will come back to that with more ethical issues, right? So for now, our topic for today's session is going to be IoT and M2M. M2M stands for, anyone knows what M2M is? Yes? Yes, people? M2M stands for machine to machine learning, right? What do you mean by that? So when we have a IoT system, right? So what happens is a machine gives data or a machine gives instruction to another machine. Are you following? Right? So many times, we have considered that the inputs are coming from multiple users. So user for either we have a user interface to provide the user with the input facility. So either we will give a keypad or we will give a touch screen so that the user gives data in the system. So that is one way of doing it. It is the user data management, right? Another way of doing it is getting the real-time data from the system. That is what we were discussing last time, right? It happens through the sensors. So whenever we have these machines gathering the data and machines sending the data to people, machines sending the data to another machine, right, which is our core of the embedded system or a IoT system, the core which is going to make the decisions. That means to run the program. So in this case, what we are going to do is we are going to have a machine-to-machine communication, and an IoT system and a typical machine-to-machine systems are a little bit different, right? So we are going to understand what is M2M learning, M2M system, and an IoT system, right? Let us go step by step into that. Machine to machine means the machine and machine autonomously controlled communication. What do you mean by that? The communication will not initiate, or somebody will not say, now you speak up, but the machine will be continuously speaking on one side and the other machine will be continuously receiving it. So it's going to be in a super loop based approach, but autonomous communication without any manual control will happen. It is not always necessary to use the internet. So we are talking about machine to machine communication, right? It may or may not require internet. For example, the attendance system, right, which we have in the college, where I come and I give my attendance by the facial recognition system. That system is going to read my face and give the data to the database system, and database system is going to calculate the attendance, right? So here internet may not be required because the server is in the college itself, right? Receiver is also in the college itself. So the LAN is used to, some network is going to be used, but it is not necessarily we are connected to the internet, because machine to machine communications are more over private networks or for selected applications. Is that very clear? So that is what machine to machine learning. We say that it is a close approach because the data is not available many times for others. CCTV cameras, they are continuously recording videos, but they are not released over internet, right? Are they? If college ka CCTV live telecast karne lag gaya, so what will happen? It will become a different this altogether, right? So, your friends, your parents will be able to live see you what is happening in the college. But that is not done. CCTV recording is for our college use only. in case जैसे आप आते हो recording देखने को, छाता छूट गया है, मेरा मोबाइल गुम गया है, so in that case we see the recording because it is ours, right? We keep it in the college, and the communication is called as a closed communication. That means it is not available for the people. Clear? Right? When it comes to IoT, we know what IoT is, right? It is a collection of hardware, software, physical object, right, which is a daily use object, and everything connected to the internet for a generalized use is nothing but our IoT system. The state which is possible that everything access the internet is concurrent. That is what is IoT. So we continuously require to use the internet in the object. A physical object actually has the system required, having a foundation of leveraging data provided by embedded sensors. So we take the data from embedded sensors, but we put it in the physical system, and physical system record data, and this requires to have an open communication interface, right? Now, how this IoT evolution happened, and how your M2M came into picture. So before internet was there, pre-internet, so the interaction used to be human to human. How? Using phones, right? Telephony was there, mobile phones also were there, but they were not connected to the internet yet. So that was happening. Now then what happened? The networks were smart at that time. We could manage the switch. Remember, we have done in networking how protocols are configured, how we can control things. You're also doing it in Linux administration now, how you can configure the to do different tasks. So the smart job was done by the networks. Then internet came into picture. The information started flowing into the World Wide Web, and the information started getting used for various application building. As the content got public, we went from your smart networks to smart IT services. We started using IT services gradually. Like for example, if you go to a store, they will ask you for your name and number. They will say that okay, aapko membership points milenge, loyalty bonus milega, all that, because their physical object could easily store the data to the internet. Then Internet of Services came into picture, right? We started using services, web services. Web 2.0 was the buzzword. Productivity, e-commerce came into existence, and things started in every phase. Some of the IoT objects were used. Maybe they were not called IoT objects at the time, but there were always, physical objects which were connected to internet in some way or the other, and data was used. Then smartphones came into picture, and what happened? We started calling it Internet of People. See, पहले क्या हुआ? Content got over internet. बाद में services became online. Then what happened? Gradually, people got connected over the internet, social media, right? So we started communicating over the internet more than what we are communicating off the internet, right? So all these right now, how we are communicating on a rainy day. So we can, if we cannot go to the class, we can still be here. I can still see that many of you are not yet here, but fine, we will still go ahead. So this is your Internet of People. And finally, now we have reached Internet of Things, where we are talking about communication between the objects, right? And then objects can also be machines. So machine to machine communication also has become one application of IoT. So if I ask you to differentiate between machine to machine and Internet of Things, how you are going to differentiate? IoT is something which is a concept where we have the physical objects giving data over the internet, and the data can be used for either analysis or any application. However, machine to machine is an application of this IoT. As we are using IoT objects, we can have a need to connect two machines where they can send and receive data to each other, right? And of course, what will machine to machine do? It will identify it will monitor what is happening, it will structure the data, and we have data and your ambient content which we are interested in. So when we talk about this M2M and IoT, we have technological advantage, because once machines start talking to each other, what will happen? Men are not required. Suppose if you want to continuously monitor the weather, suppose if I want to continuously monitor, we have seen that our lab 2 is having some small leakage. So in this weather, I want to continuously monitor it. So what will I have to do? I will put a camera there and I will keep on watching it, right? Now you must have seen some on the TV or on some web content or entertainment content. You must have seen that there are monitors, right? Video monitors for babies also. So what happens is if the child is sleeping and if you are in another room, so you can keep a monitor there to keep on checking that if the baby wakes up, you have to go and attend. So in that case, the communication is happening, but the video is getting telecasted, right? And we are watching. What if we can raise an alarm only when the baby gets up, or only when there is any red flag? Like if the baby is sleeping on the bed and it comes very close to the edge. So maybe, if it sounds alarm in all those cases, then we don't have to keep watching it. So uske liye kya karenge? We will appoint a machine to watch it. Are you following? Now, what M2M is doing is machine-to-machine communication is avoiding or reducing the human interaction or the need of human interaction in such type of services which are provided. So a technological advantage, it has low cost, okay, because it is only a video call. You're not going to put any money in it. Only you're going to put an AI system which is going to continuously read the camera and going to raise the flag if required. Then what will require is we require IP address for each and every device. As we were discussing the other day, we require IP address, and we require a broad adaptation of internet. So in both the rooms, if we have a camera in one room and we are sitting in another, we require a good internet connectivity in both the rooms, right? So we can use internet in all aspects of life with evolution of technology from the earlier time when it was ARPANET, right? Then how the evolution happened, we noticed the TCP/IP protocol suite, then your www and internet, and they all became part of our common life. And we can now say that the internet has become the new normal, right? It has become the manufacturer's normalcy, which we are using every day in life, right? So technological advantage, cost, design for better sensors, actuators, and tags to digital identity, observe and control objects in physical world. So that is what we require to do with your machine-to-machine learning. I hope you have understood the concept, basic M2M, what it does and how we are going to use it. Gradually, what is happening? The M2M solutions are on the increase. We are starting to use more and more M2M solutions. Why? Because number one, we have an easy availability of internet, right? Almost all the time we are connected to the internet. We are hooked to the internet, and we can also help other physical devices to get connected to the internet. That is point number one, right? Point number two is when we are using M2M, the technology is also getting gradually cheaper. So the technology cost is now reducing. Earlier, having a CCTV camera installed was a big thing, right? You required a lot of networking to be done. We required a lot of wires to be connected and so on and so forth. Abhi tak college mein jo CCTV use kare, we are using wired cameras only. So you can see a lot of wiring requires to be done, cables require to be added. There has to be a server, there has to be a switch in which all the wires are coming. You can see one in our IT department office, right? So all the camera inputs are coming there and we can switch them. You can also see one on the first floor, right, of this main, jahan pe bahar dekhte ho, TV cameras are installed. But agar hum ghar ki baat kare, if you want a CCTV camera in the house, it comes very, very cheap, right? You can have it and it can be connected to the internet very easily. Okay, so the technology cost has reduced, so more use, we can say increase in M2M solutions has happened. So need to understand physical environment in various forms, right? We also require, is the reason why we are increasing sustainability, technology evolution, and improved health and safety awareness. So we require to be connected all the time. So that is why this is improved. Improved network capability. Now, earlier it was difficult to get connected to the network all the time. As we said, each and every connection required an IP. The connectivity was difficult. Now we feel that it's possible. So network compatibility capacity has increased. As we already said, the reduced cost to collect and analyze data. So all these reasons are why the M2M concept has started gaining more and more popularity. Drivers of M2M towards IoT. Now this M2M is closed. As we said, it is a closed application and not necessarily it is using internet. But gradually these closed applications are becoming open and M2Ms are converting into IoT systems. Are you following the difference between the two, right? So when we are talking about this IoT systems, which actually M2M systems, which are becoming IoT systems gradually, these are the drivers, increase productivity gains. If you connect the system to the internet, what can happen? You can have a backup of the data. You can, if you're contributing to a huge set of data, then what will happen? Your data sample will increase in size. I hope you understand the concept of machine learning. Remember, we had discussed once in the class. So how this analysis of data happens. So once you collect the data, you are going to draw a conclusion. For example, today we collect the data, attendance. Then I will draw a conclusion that online lecture हुआ तो 50% students will only come. So that is a conclusion which I will draw from the data. अभी मैंने एक ही क्लास का ऑनलाइन लेक्चर लिया है and class में 90 people are there so far enrolled and out of them 42 are here. So I have that one set of data. With that, I am making a statement that 50% से ज़्यादा लोग नहीं आते हैं, around 50% कम. So that is one statement based on a small set of data. Now, if I take lectures over a week, right, every day online, then I will get more data. And then my percentage prediction will become more accurate, right? Just say, for example, if I will predict the possibility that a particular student will come for a lecture or he will not come for a lecture. If one person does not sit for any IoT lecture, it will be easy for me to predict कि वो नहीं आएगा. But that is dependent only on one data set. If a student only does not like IoT but likes other subjects and is very regular in other subjects, then the prediction of his, the probability of he coming will be more. So this type of calculations which we do, it can be better with more and more data. ज्यादा जितना डेटा ज्यादा उतना हमारा एनालिसिस बेटर हो सकता है, राइट? सो दैट इज व्हाई इफ द M2M systems rather than remaining closed, if they become open, similar type of systems will be present and more data will be generated. Analysis can be done with more data. Are you following? So for that particular reason, we are following this. Again, as I said, the cost will reduce क्योंकि अगर हमें नेटवर्क में रखना है उसको physical network में, which is a closed network, we will have to connect, right, to the wires and server. तो मुझे एक local server चाहिए होगा, फिर मुझे स्विच चाहिए होगा जहाँ पे सारे कैमरास के केबल्स आके एक साथ जाएंगे, फिर वहां से सब जगह स्प्लिट हो जाएगा. So that cost will be there. If I am connecting to the internet, I will only use a camera with Wi-Fi and I will take 10 cameras and data will be directly going to the cloud server. So it will reduce the cost and it will also increase safety and security because I can go for a security measure which is easily available. So now I'm going to give you a quick poll where you are going to give me an answer. Just give me a second. I will system where one machine is gathering the data and giving it to the other machine, right, to take the decisions. And again, the decisions are relayed back and things like that. And this entire cycle becomes automatic. There is no manual intervention in the system. So that is what is your M2M system. Now, when this entire process is going on in an intranet or it is going on a local network, it becomes a closed M2M system. Whereas we can also have open M2M system, which is same as a IoT system. So gradually we understood the factors and driving factors which are actually taking that M2M systems towards IoT. So it will not be that all the systems will be converted to IoT systems, but a good number of systems may get converted. Whenever we connect everything to the internet, the major problem or major issue which comes to our mind is the security of the data which we are putting on the internet. So for that reason, certain M2M systems which are critical, like air traffic controller giving the data of the flights taking off and landing and things like that, they will not become IoT systems, right? They will be, even if they want to share data, it will be through a private network. We cannot put everything on the internet. So not all the systems may become IoT systems right now. But as the security measures progress, as the technology progresses in that aspect, yes, down the line, down 50 years, we may, have your particular system converting to IoT system. Second question, which had a definitely right answer. The question says that which is an example of a M2M system, right? Shopping through DMart Ready app or billing in the DMart store. Now, what is your answer to this question? I think it is now half split. 47% answered that shopping through the DMart Ready app is a M2M system. But when you are doing online shopping, are you connected to the internet openly? Yes. So your data is going to their server, but it is also going on a public channel, open communication channel. So it is your billing in the DMart store, which is a completely closed M2M system where data is read and going to the server. Considering that every DMart store has a server of their own, and then finally they are connected to a central server. Are you following? Right? So this is what we were discussing in this type of drivers. Going ahead, M2M communication between devices of same type and specific application via wired or wireless communication is called as M2M communication. What do you mean by that? Communication between devices of same type. When the devices are talking to each other, they should talk the same language. That means they should have the same data type, which is recognized by them. So the data is, sent and received in a network. It can be wired or wireless connection, as you have seen in your TCP and UDP protocols. M2M is applied in different scenarios like remote monitoring system, like we were saying, baby monitors, provide connectivity in remote machine type devices. So that is where it is used much. Just to give you an overview of M2M system, it includes your M2M devices, right? Then it includes your network. It includes your service enablement. So the network has to be provided by a service provider. And then finally your application logic, in other words, nothing but the program. So this is how it looks. This is your asset. Asset means data source, right? What is happening there? You have sensors which are sensing the data. M2M device which is connected to the network. Now we are not calling it IoT device. Something on this. Sneha, okay, can you please repeat? Open M2M and close. Yes. Open M2M is actually essentially IoT. So when you have a data, which is open in the network, available for everybody, it becomes just a GitHub. The data is put on GitHub. So it is available for everyone. It is an open source system. But the data generated by my application also can be stored on a server, which can be used only by other application of mine. I cannot give it, I'm not giving it to the other users. That becomes the closed system. Are you following? So open M2M can become an open system or it can become a closed system. However, IoT by definition is connecting to internet. So those are all open systems only. Okay, understood? So जैसे हमने IoT का components देखा, ये M2M system solution का components है. Assets which are data sources, the sensors which are put over here in between. So sensors are giving data to your M2M device. The data over the network is reaching your server, remote server. Then application, and then यहाँ पे अपना program execute होगा. Program execute होने के बाद whatever is the answer, whatever is the solution that can be in the terms of a process run on multiple client systems. So that is how your M2M is going to work. Clear? Taking ahead. Key application area where we can use these M2M systems. So telematics, where for example cars are using some safety and security measures. For now we can also consider Google Maps, right? If the Ola Auto is using, or Ola app is using Google Maps to track the rides and everything. So what is happening? Also the data about a particular person going from X place to Y place is stored on the server of Google. So that type of example. So you will know that how many people were traveling. And so this type of utility, 2012, 40 million people were doing this, using it. And now if you see in 2016, only in 4 years, right, it happened that 140 million have started using the old data, okay, taken in 2016. But still see how much is the growth in the use of M2M. And you can imagine now 2016 say again 5 years down the line, what will be the change? So it might have increased further. So metering, meters giving data. अभी तक हमारे अपने पास इंडिया में आपका इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का बिल कैसे जनरेट हो रहा है? People are coming to capture the photos, right, of electric meters, and then we are getting our bills. Now gradually they have also given you an app, right, where you can also click the photo of your electric meter and upload. Gradually these meters will start reading on their own, right, and sending the data. It will be very soon. But इसका growth आप देखो उतना नहीं है जितना आपका location tracking का है. You see the growth in the market. 733 million were using it in 2012, 71 million using in 2016. And I don't know the figure today, but definitely it might have increased, but not to the full extent. इसका एक reason है. The reason is the billing is based on the meter read. So what happens is, if the meter malfunctions, what may happen? Your bill directly can get affected. Are you following? Faulty meters can generate a lot of issues. It is more critical. That is why it is not growing that much. Remote monitoring, sensors connected to the assets and tracked by another machine in real time. The automatically monitored CCTV camera. So that also has seen growth, almost double. The market size is almost double. Fleet management, vehicles can be managed and tracked. जैसे हमारा Amazon, you can track your orders, right? Something like that. It has also increased in size. Security cameras, connectivity used for home and small business security alarm system. ATM system, everything is growing in size, right? You can see that there is growth in the market, and M2M is getting more and more popular, right? Our trust in machines is increasing. Now, like we said, M2M can find its application in IoT. So IoT can become M2M when it becomes open-ended, it becomes an IoT system. So connecting systems of sensors to make a bigger network. So that is what your IoT system can be. Network, people, media, content, and machines can contribute to becoming a bigger network. Machines are actually real world assets because they are going to gather data in better way compared to people. right? Can you hear me properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So machines are better assets than people. Why are we saying that? Because people may give you incorrect. I mean, I asked you a poll, right? So that poll can give me a right or wrong answer. However, the machine will always give you the correct reading. If I ask you what time did you come to college, enter the time. Okay, so you will write one time. But if I have a sensor which is detecting your in time, so that sensor will never lie. It will give me the correct time always. So machines are more, what will we say, dependable, where monitoring systems are concerned. So that is why they become assets, right? Interacting with people and gathering important real-time data. The important fact about real-time data is that data cannot be wrong, right? Real-time data is sensed and it's also our digital footprint. So अभी आपने देखा होगा ना, आरटीओ ने जो कैमरास लगाए हुए हैं, अगर आपने रेड लाइट जंप किया तो डेफिनेटली किया, तो देयर इज नो आर्ग्यूमेंट टू दैट बिकॉज इट्स caught on camera, right, live. So nobody can erase it. So that is how the machines are more dependable than people. IoT can become extension of the existing internet, as we were discussing in the lab the other day. We can come up with an idea of giving a separate batch of IP addresses to the IoT systems. That is in proposed mode, not yet finalized. Remote monitoring and control systems can take up the job. How and where the machine to machine learning is applied in IoT is a matter of discussion. So we can list down the applications and we can see how it works. Application of open innovative techniques to improve business processes. Definitely it can improve business processes. Simple electricity meter reading, if we consider, it will definitely improve the business process. So it will definitely reduce job by one person has to come to your meter site, read, take the picture and send. But it is also making the entire system very simple, because 24/7 the meters readings are automatically given to the server. So you don't have the step where a person comes and clicks photograph. That is not there at all. So the unit smart meters if we install, so the bill is calculated per hour probably, not per month. So this will become a better technique, right, to generate results. So now if we consider that we have to make a IoT out of M2M, so how will your IoT behave with respect to your M2M? How do we make this machine to machine system as a open-ended system? So these are some examples which are telling us, or these are some aspects of IoT which we can make using M2M. So people, they have considered fitness apps. It's already a M2M. Your mobile is giving, sorry, your tracking device is giving the data to the mobile. So it's already a M2M communication, right? Vehicles, where your fast tag, how it calculates or how it actually takes the toll from your vehicle. So this is the system. I hope everybody knows what it is. It's a tag put on your machine. It's a RFID tag when you're in your car. So when your car passes through the toll naka, so toll naka will have a reader which will read the data, right, from the card. So if I have put 500 rupees in my fast tag, and if the toll is say 35 rupees, so when I go, every time it will cut 35 rupees from the 500 which I have. A similar system, if it works with our UPI app, it will become so much more easier. So then the ticket counter only will not be required. So you will definitely put in money in your smart card, and smart card se aapko kidhar tap bhi nahi karna hai. Once you enter the train, there will be sensors everywhere, and you can still, the sensors can still read from your smart card. So that is what is vehicular system is going to be. Buildings, your security cameras giving you data, live feed of that, and so on. Assets we can protect with the cameras. We can keep on, we can track them. Like if you're sending a package, you can track the package. If you purchase something, you can again track the package, right? Industrial applications are many. We will come to that later. Irrigation systems, we have already talked about the smart irrigation systems. Again, they can become internet based. You can control it from your home, right? You can check and work on the data. And spaces where we can protect. So what happens is the internet connectivity is available. Then we enable one application to communicate with all the users or all the devices which are connected to IoT and the application layer. So this is how your IoT is going to be or your M2M is going to be with, when it becomes open-ended. IoT for M2M in open and closed environment. So we can have a closed environment, we can have an open environment. That is what we've been talking about. So industrial implementation can be done in a closed environment, like we said, M2M systems, remote control of technology, and intranet of things, right? Those M2M applications are closed applications. Open application, open environment, we have been discussing all this while the same thing. So I'm just going to go ahead. Now we come to application and services of IoT in M2M systems. So which are the different branches where you can use all that? So consumer electronics, you can have consumer electronics matlab wherever you are using any electronic item, जैसे Spotify app use कर रहे हो, या if you are using a transistor, if you are using a any smart kind of device, camera, which is directly uploading photos to the internet, something of that sort, right? Transport, we already discussed. Banking, lot of cashless banking applications, जैसे हमारा GPay and all, they all become applications of these systems. They have M2M system which actually reads the data from one banking server and gives it to the other. Environmental system, जैसे pollution meters and detectors, rain predictors, all of that. Infrastructures where we have different solar panels and generation of data in the grid, so on and so forth, right? Different utilities which you use, your well-being, then your smart city applications, lot of things, right? So you can go on, the applications have really no end. So just give me a minute. Okay, sorry for that. So we have M2M and IoT in global context. Okay, sorry for the interruption. So we have this M2M and IoT, a global context, right? So this is happening in a very large scale, and we can differentiate in micro level and macro level applications of the system. So we have impact of this applications of IoT in M2M, or we can say M2M's open approach becoming the IoT applications. So we can see the impact in different aspects of global applications. So that is how it works. In the entire sector of IoT systems, the basic game changers are social and environmental economic shifts. So social shifts are, people are, as we said, going from real world to a virtual world. More people are getting connected on the internet rather than being connected in person. Strong demand for monitoring, controlling, and understanding the physical world. We require to keep on monitoring it always. Game changers are helping with technological and scientific advances, right? So this is what is working with IoT systems. So natural resources are limited, right? They're depleting. So that is why we have to monitor more and more. There are a lot of economic shifts happening, and because of the cashless transaction world, we require to monitor it more closely. Look into it, we may have problems in future. So that requires monitoring. Security again is very important because we are sharing a lot of data over the internet. The data is vulnerable, so we have to look into the security. Everything is becoming urbanized. People are coming to the urban areas from rural areas, and naturally technology advancements are already there. So that is why more and more IoT implementation. But it does not end there. If you see now, like many people have given me a topic of agricultural use of IoT, where livestock can be monitored, where crops can be monitored. And we can see that it is not only urbanization, but it is advancement of technologies in rural sector as well, which is a game changer. Although it is not listed here, but advancement in technology in grassroots level also plays a very important role. So there are scientific trends which are happening, pharmaceutical advancements. You saw how pandemic, expedited, or it became so fast, the actual manufacturing, making of the vaccine, prototyping, testing, and then, implementing it at mass level. So that pharmaceutical, cosmetics, you can see the awareness of young people using, or for that matter, any person using cosmetic items, how it is growing. Electronic gadgets, so many people are using it. So now, this is becoming manufactured normalcy. Everybody feels that it is a requirement and not an option. So that is why your general technology trends are improved, right? Leading you towards more and more M2M systems becoming IoT systems. So more complex and advanced machinery you use. We just have one lecture, guys. So autonomous and semi-autonomous tools, which are, what do you mean by autonomous? A tool which can function on its own, totally function on its own. So that is a autonomous tool. Robotic improvement, which is happening, right? So all these things are coming. We have an example, which is that Rio Tinto. It was one, we can say he was a technologist, he was a scientist, he was a philosopher, because, he has pictured a application which is of future, but it is not so far in the future. It is going to, some part of it is already implemented, part of it is getting implemented, and we will reach the phase which, or the model which he has pictured for us very soon. So we are going to look at that video and see how it goes. This is called Mine of Future. Have a look here. I'm just going to share the. So I hope you enjoyed that video, right? I want you to just draw some conclusions from it. It was a mine of future where, we are avoiding all the problems or all the toxicity of a mining exercise, and we are using it for a proper, mining experience where we are not losing anything, right? So you could see that the resources are utilized, the mining is done, where the toxic fumes are generated, no human interaction is there. Is any inputs from your side, people? Green mining, perfect, Sanjeev. Yes. So this type of applications are not very far away in future. By incorporating this M2M IoT based system, we are doing all the sensing, we are checking all the data, monitoring it continuously, and coming up with solutions which are using these technologies. That is what we are going to use these applications for, right? So for today, we are going to take a break at this stage. We are going to stop here, right? And based on what we have done, I will be posting a quiz. I'm just going to stop this session here. And next session will be in class as usual, right? Whenever we have the next lecture. We have completed one topic, introduction and applications of M2M. The questions which can be asked are, what is M2M? What is the difference between IoT and M2M? How, your IoT systems can become M2M systems, or rather how your M2M systems can be IoT system where it opens the approach. So give examples, right? So on and so forth. So likewise, we are going to have this type of questions which we have addressed today. So I hope you understood, right? Many people could not attend, I think, because of some network problems or something. But next time we meet, so that is why I'm not completing this here. Next time we will just take a quick review and proceed. So any doubts?